Hello, I wanted to create this quick video to show you how we can build the multi-cloud environment AWS, GCP, and Azure on Infracodebase. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is to create a new workspace. Workspace name multi-cloud. We can add a description. We can keep it private, internal, or public. Let's say private, and then we create a workspace. Now what we're going to do is that we are going to add an architecture diagram, so this one for example, and then we are going to say okay, build it on AWS TF, Azure TF, GCP TF, following for example these URLs. So for example this one, then we have this one, and then here, and Terraform best practices. What I would like to do as well is to say create one folder per cloud providers. So one for AWS, one for Azure, one for GCP. Then create a document mapping the resources as well as the breakdown costs, and then run tf validate. So we are getting closer to not only a prompt but a specification as well. So here we explicitly said, okay, this is what we want, this is the context that we share with you, and then he understood. And here we can directly see the task. We can follow all the tasks, and we have 8 tasks. So here he already created like AWS, Azure, the docs as well, and the GCP one. So now he created that. Now he's going to analyze the AWS architecture diagram and mapping resources. Then he's going to do like build AWS Terraform infrastructure, build Azure Terraform infrastructure, build GCP, create resource mapping document, create cost breakdown analysis, and then run Terraform validate on all configuration. Now we can pause it because we are pretty limited by LinkedIn, so it's 15 minutes. So we can pause it, and then I will show you what he has done. So now if we resume the video, what he has done was to create the folder structure. Perfect. Analyze AWS architecture diagram and map the resources. This is what he has done here. Then here we can open it, make it bigger. We understand like multi-cloud architecture analysis. Perfect. Here what he has done as well is building the AWS Terraform infrastructure here. So we can hide that. We can show like all of the files. And as you can see, use right version, for example, here. We can look at version here that is created, providers, it was here, then variables, basically it's here, then the main.tf, then for example here, the load balancer, Athena is this one. So you see, we didn't need to write a single line of Terraform code. Then the output is basically here. Perfect. For example, now let's say that we want to directly edit the code. What we can do is that we can hide the chats. Then we can directly write, it's fully editable, so I can modify the code by myself as well if I want to. And then now show the chat. now what it's doing is that building the Azure Terraform infrastructure, so I can hide it, I can close all of the files here. For example, I can keep this one open, and then I can look at Azure, and then container. For example, here, load balancer, the main.tf, providers, variables, versions. And now I can do the same thing as earlier. I can close all of it here, and I just need to follow. And as you can see, it's directly writing all of the files for me. So let's pause it again, and then I will show you what it has done. Then here, for example, the step like build Azure Terraform infrastructure equivalent, we can look at it. Version, for example, here, it has been created. Then you have like the providers. I can follow all the files. Then, for example, here, the variables that it generated itself. Then, for example, here, the main.tf. Here, the container. Then the load balancer. Then, for example, here, the monitoring. The data service. So here. And then the output. So for example, the output, it's here. So everything has been generated. So now what it's doing is building GCP. So here what we have is that we have all the files here that you already generated, the main.tf as well, the providers, the variables, the version.tf. So it's perfect. So now up, we can close and then keep only one, let's say, open. Here GKE is this one, then cloud run, it's basically this one. Then the load balancer. And then we just need to wait. So we are here building GCP Terraform infrastructure equivalent. What we have done so far was to create all of the files for and the Terraform files for AWS. Same thing for Azure. For the docs, create the architecture analysis. For the GCP folder, create all of its files. And now we just need to wait. So data service, for example, here is this one. And yeah, we just wait. Perfect. So now I continued. So here the data service, this is what we showed. The monitoring here is this one. Then here the output. Perfect. The reason I'm pausing the video is because I'm quite limited by LinkedIn, like I said. So it's 15 minutes. And as you can know already, it could take some time to build such multi-cloud environment. So now I created the resource mapping document. So I can close this. I can close everything here. So now I can open the doc. This is the resource mapping. I can make it bigger. And as you can see, architecture pattern equivalence, component category, AWS, Azure, GCP. Detailed resource mapping. It's perfect here. We have all the information that we need. So now what it's doing is creating the cost breakdown analysis. So this is everything that we have created so far in less than 10 minutes. The cost breakdown is this one. So here multi-cloud cost breakdown analysis. So here AWS cost breakdown, compute services, storage services, networking services with all the costs as well, of course. Azure, GCP, cost analysis inside as well, optimize cost conversion. Then now let's look at Terraform validate on all configurations. And he's doing it one by one. So now he's starting by the AWS directory. So he understands, for example, if there are any things to fix and then fix it itself. So for example, I need to fix a lifecycle configuration by adding a filter. Now let me validate the AWS configuration again. Now let me validate the Azure configuration. So it's doing that. And then it will do GCP as well. So now everything is done. As you can see, we have done all of the tasks, from creating the folder structure for multi-cloud deployment, then analyzing the AWS architecture diagram here, for example, then here building AWS Terraform infrastructure. This is what we have done here with all the Terraform files. Then the Azure folder with all the files as well. Same thing for GCP. Then here we created the resource mapping. We also created the cost multi-cloud cost breakdown analysis. We run the Terraform validate on all configuration. And then we commit all the work using the Git agent. And as you can see here, all configuration are now valid. So here, multi-cloud analytics platform completed. What was built, infrastructure as code, documentation, quality assurance, then all the cost summary as well is ready to deploy. So how big is the code base and how long would an engineering team have taken to build it? So here, if we resume everything that we created, we also have the README here and all the docs that we want. So in less than 15 minutes, we were basically able to generate all of this. Is able also to calculate the time saving, comparison AI human. So for example here, as you can see, on top, we have 5,000 line of code. And here it will take 3 to 5 months. So here what we can do now is that we can directly multi-cloud create an Infracodebase, put it in public, for example, if we want to use it, and then create the repo. Perfect. And now we are in AWS here. So we have all the files, same thing for Azure, same thing for all the docs that we wanted, GCP. And now it's available for the entire community. I hope you liked this video. And if you have any questions, I will be really happy to help you build your own scenario on Infracodebase. Have a great day.